If I ask you about the most sanctioned countries in the world, the two names that would immediately pop up in your mind are North Korea and Russia. Since to a larger extent, the combined West sets the global narrative, these two are considered to be baddies on the global stage. Turns out, the baddies are becoming buddies. Being pushed into a corner and marginalized by the international community, they have decided to stick together.
These buddies have a common rival, the United States. Demonstrating its friendship with Russia, North Korea has hit where it hurts most. It has endorsed the invasion of Ukraine. If you remember, North Korea was one of the 4 countries that opposed a United Nations General Assembly resolution condemning the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Their collaboration doesn't end there. North Korea is even planning to deliver more weapons to support Russian efforts in Ukraine. Despite the fact that purchasing weapons from North Korea would violate United Nations resolutions to which Russia is a signatory.
But that won't be an issue because the UN is a toothless tiger. The effectiveness of the UN in enforcing its resolutions is often questioned, as it lacks the necessary power and has failed to prevent conflicts as intended. The organization's ability to take action hinges on unanimous agreement among all 5 permanent members, leaving it vulnerable to the whims of a single veto-wielding nation. And it is no secret that permanent members exploit this veto power to advance their own agendas.
Coming back to Russia's quest for weapons from North Korea, the question arises, why does a country like Russia want weapons from North Korea? Desperation and compatibility. Look, Russia is caught in the grip of Western sanctions, which have dealt a heavy blow to its ability to replenish its military arsenal while engaged in a protracted conflict with Ukraine. The stakes are high, and Russia finds itself in a tight spot. As a result, Russia is left with no choice but to venture into uncharted territory, seeking out alternative sources for much needed weaponry. Russia is even buying back arms parts exported to Myanmar and India.
Moreover, the ammunition that North Korea plans to peddle to Russia are likely comprised of replicas of Soviet-era weapons that are compatible with Russian launchers. Further, in North Korea's quest for nuclear weapons and advanced guided missiles, the need for its older unguided artillery shells has waned. Therefore, North Korea possesses a range of items that it could potentially offer to Russia. In exchange for these weapons, it is probable that North Korea would seek essential resources like food, fuel, and other materials from Russia. We know that the North Korean regime faces challenges in acquiring such goods from international markets due to the United Nations sanctions imposed on them due to its nuclear program.
So, in the case of Russia and North Korea, what we are witnessing is 2 isolated countries deepening their ties in response to what they perceive as Western hegemony and heavy-handedness. Amid the Ukraine conflict, Russia and North Korea have strengthened trade, energy, and security cooperation. North Korea has pledged full support for Russia and has called for closer strategic cooperation between the 2 countries. And Russia is returning the favor. It is sending a delegation to North Korea to offer food in exchange for weapons. Munition in exchange of food? Yes. North Korea is one of the poorest countries in the world. It has experienced chronic food shortages for decades. Reason? There are many. Authoritarian government, drop in production, strict border controls, and punitive sanctions.
An intriguing dynamic emerges when we examine the past. Last year, when North Korea recognized the annexation of Ukrainian territories by Russia, it received a notable response. As a result of this recognition, Russia rewarded North Korea with shipments of grain and fuel. So North Korea has understood that appropriate political gestures can lead to tangible benefits in terms of vital resources. For instance, oil. Russia has resumed oil exports to North Korea. The oil trade from Russia to North Korea dropped to zero after North Korea imposed harsh border restrictions in early 2020. Thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. Looks like North Korea isn't afraid of missiles from America, but is definitely afraid of microbes from China.
Anyway, Russia is actively seeking alternative markets to compensate for the loss of access to global markets through Europe. One potential option is to establish stronger ties with North Korea. There are growing indications that Russia is considering constructing energy pipelines, integrating its energy grid, and enhancing land-based trade connections with North Korea. This move could address North Korea's urgent needs for energy, food, medicine, technology, and relief from sanctions. Such increased linkages between Russia and North Korea through pipelines, railways, and energy grids would be a win-win situation for both.
Lastly, collaboration among North Korea, Russia, and Iran is steadily progressing in response to Western sanctions. The dragon might want to fit in here too. As China's influence over North Korea is expanding and its leverage over Russia and Iran is growing, a new axis of cooperation may emerge in the region.